Natasha, and I am your astrological birth chart counselor. So I like to take the approach of counseling and using the tool of astrology of your birth chart in order to bring more self-awareness for not only yourself but the people around you, and that we all go through our own things. So be a little bit more empathetic about people's situations. And today we're gonna go through moon signs. So I'm gonna knock all of this out like a true Aries moon that I am, and I try and do all 12 videos within one shoot, but you will get them sporadically. So you'll see my outfit is the same. I sell these products on my website, www.natashascreativewellness.com. It'll be linked in the description box below. And you just go to the merchandise section on my website. If you like to purchase your own personalized birth chart reading, that is also in the schedule booking section of my website. So you can check that out as well. So this is short story. This is me in 2015, shortly after my figure bodybuilding competition. So if that helps motivate you, go ahead and purchase that. I also have the poster version. I know there's a glare. And then it's my little quote, life is harder than working out. And that is a period of time back in the day for me where working out was the one thing that I did for myself and for nobody else to get me through really hard, tough, emotional stuff that was just layered and layered that kept coming. And yeah, so that's why I'm into fitness. You can check out my other YouTube channel, fit_Tasha Flex. I also have an Instagram page, but I don't really post much over there, but that will be more dedicated towards working out videos or short clips if you're into that, because everyone gets motivated differently. So on to our moon signs, and I'll clip it. Onto our moon signs. Scorpio and Scorpio moon people, so you have a very kind of like a karmic moon sign, super intense, deep, and it's about power plays and transformation and being very resilient. You may have seen, because the moon represents the mother, so you may have perceived your mother as kind of like a tyrant or a dictator, or kind of controlling or suffocating, even though that wasn't her intention, or she's going through her own emotional growth or unresolved trauma that she wasn't able to clearly communicate to you, or she wasn't aware of. But as a Scorpio, you're a deep psychological water sign, and you may pick up on those mysterious things of your mother and her wounds, but not completely understand it, especially as a child. So your perception of her and how she's interacting with you based on your own unique personality, and she's just trying to navigate you the best or only way that she knows how to, because there's no parent manual out there. You may perceive her as like too much or unstable, or you're kind of going through these highs and lows of deep transformation, or learning how to be resilient yourself based on this moon placement. So it's very deep and very intense. This moon, you may kind of go about life unconsciously, maybe consciously thinking about other people's resources or how to use other people's resources in order to survive or make it in the world, whether that is, hopefully with good intention, but there may be a seed there to feel secure and safe that Other people's resources are needed in order to make it. So because Scorpio represents the 8th house, and it represents the things that come after marriage. So that is joint resources, other people's finances, other people's houses or jewels, whatever they own that has any kind of value, inheritances, as well as in-laws. So maybe, you find that your emotions are somehow tied to your in-laws, or you feel deeply for them, or you feel connected to your in-laws. If that comes into play for you, or something's happening with your in-laws, you connect with that particular person a little bit more than other signs. You are focused on like using your resources in order to feel safe and secure, like any inheritances or trust funds or whatever it may be for you, or donations, anything in that kind of arena is kind of like in your mind, or it's like in your emotions. So it's more in your heart. It's not really what you're thinking, it's the energy of how your emotions are being, expressed, as an energy. Because I have a Aries moon, so it's not quite like how you think, it's the energy of how your emotions kind of play out. So Scorpio moon, your emotions are very deeply intense and very fixated, and can be very possessive and obsessive, and like just fixated on whatever is important to you, whether that is something you have to learn to let go and release as you mature and grow older. It's just like, it's not as big as a deal as you may perceive it to be, because you are so fixated on it, opposed to the bigger picture or situation. So it really depends on whatever else is going on. But you can be so fixated on maybe a past pain or past breakup or relationship that it just kind of consumes you. And it's really, really hard to energetically let that go. It's not easy, and so Scorpio energy is having to learn how to be resilient and overcome very, very tough, challenging situations that other people may never encounter ever in their life, because Scorpio energy is very intense and very deep, like psychologically deep. So anyone who has strong Scorpio placements, they tend to seek out astrology and the occult, so I have Venus in Scorpio at 28 degrees, and it is my chart ruler. So I can kind of understand this energy in a different way, but it is about, like rising above hardship, learning to let go. And sometimes it's very, very scary, because it's like security, whatever you find to be secure, that you kind of cling on to, it's very hard to break away from that. One example, in a relationship in the past, that I really thought that it was going to be the one, or I was emotionally attached to it regardless, or like you could say trauma bonded to it. Like towards the end, like I knew mentally, like, this is not working. It's not working. Nothing is improving. This person is not even wanting to try or wanting to communicate. It's there in my face. But emotionally, I am still invested and latched on. It's kind of like a pit bull latched on, and you can't really pry the jaw off of whatever the situation is. It's kind of like an example for that. And if you are ever in a kind of toxic situation, or you know there's a ton of red flags and you know it, like you know it's bad, or you know this addiction is bad, or you know this habit is not the best for you, even if it's not seen as, you know, necessarily bad, it's socially acceptable, but you know you want to change it, but it's not easy to change, you know. It's like, it's pretty dramatic, okay? So like cutting yourself off from like a toxic relationship and you're trauma bonded to it, metaphorically speaking, like please don't do this. Metaphorically speaking, if you don't understand people who keep going back to someone who is not good for them or is really, really bad, so it depends on what your definition of bad is, you know. For that person, if you're so confused, like just leave, you know, like what the hell, like this is obviously not good. To that person, it feels so threatening and scary that it's almost like telling them to chop their own arm off with an axe, you know, all by themselves without anyone. You know how hard it is to actually get yourself, you know, like if you were to just think about it, if you're alone in the Arctic tundra and you happen to have an axe and your hand is like going through hypothermia and turning black, you know, and it's like creeping more and more, and you're like, this is a part of me, my hand is a part of myself, you know, and you don't want to let that go. You have kind of enmeshed and merged with this person or identity or whoever that is, yet there's something toxic or not healthy about this attachment, and you see that it's just not working, or it's unhealthy, or they don't see you, they don't hear you, they don't want to work on it, they just want to do their own thing, they just want to take over and make your hand all black and decay, you know, from the cold, brutal weather, you know. And now you have an axe and you like to just to get yourself to do it, you know, that to actually do it like that and cut it off is not easy. So that's just like a metaphor, even though it sounds like super dramatic, and kind of in a creepy thriller movie. I'm not into those kind of movies at all, but that is, energetically speaking, how hard it is to break away from this energy, because it wants to latch on emotionally, because it's fixed water and it represents like deep psychology, things that are unknown, hidden secrets, things that we're just unconscious of. And it's, you know, trying to change and transform, bring things that don't work up to the surface, make it conscious and go like, oh my God, this is not good, even though it took maybe 20 years to really realize this, you know. And you didn't think, you know, at the beginning of it that it would end up the way that it's ending, and it's no good anymore, it's not working, and somehow, you know, it needs to go through some kind of change and transformation process. So that is kind of a metaphor display of what the Scorpio energy, or what the emotions of what like a Scorpio moon may present, and how a parental figure may kind of interact with you, what your moon sign is. So, you know, very sensitive, very intuitive, can pick up, you know, things that other people may not pick up on or perceive. So very, very intense, kind of a karmic moon sign to overcome and heal, but very powerful. It's a very powerful moon sign, very intense, very resilient, can emotions are just super strong. You know, if you've matured and have a good handle over your emotions, then you're very, very intelligent and wise with this moon sign, and can sense a lot of things, like pick up a lot of things in your environment. So I hope you enjoyed my extreme metaphor, and if you want to book a personal birth chart reading, you can go to the link in my description box below. It's www.natashascreativewellness.com. You can book a reading there. You can check out my merchandise tab where I have shirts like this. If you're into this, this is when I was a few days after I competed in figure bodybuilding. If you're into transformation, turning pain into power, that is kind of what I did in order to get through a hard period in my life. Is I started going to the gym every single day, and I basically put muscular pain into my body, as you know, life was like a joke in comparison to what I can push through with reps, and going to the gym is like, that's nothing compared to what life can kind of give you and what you have to tolerate, and you have to move through it. And a lot of the times it's not like something that you did, you know, and you received it. You might feel stuck in a situation, whatever that is. And for me, that was the one thing that I did for myself and for nobody else. And, you know, I had no money and still have to live with my mom. And, you know, my dad had passed away from cancer. My mom had cancer. We owned like a family business, and that was hard. It was really small. And then I still had to figure out who the hell I am and what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do restaurant business, and you know, things are just not easy, and you have to juggle all these things. And it's like, well, if I'm gonna live a life, I want to, you know, not live a life that's for what other people want me to live, you know, otherwise why am I even here, you know? So that perspective is different for everyone, you know. And I have a Cancer midheaven, so I have to really care about what I do, otherwise I can't get myself to do it, you know. So, you know, everyone's different, and so whatever approach works for you, whether that's art, writing, working a lot, building a craft, perfecting something, building a family, you know, whatever works for you, that will be very personal to whoever you are. If you like to purchase a journal, support me. I have these on my merchandise tab, as well as yoga mats, and some other stuff. It's based on art, so check it out. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to check out my other videos, I have a playlist down below. You can check out the Scorpio video in the zodiac sign playlist if you want to check out more information. Okay, bye. So